Okay, everybody. Hi. DHS here. I wanted to do Elvira. She doesn't like when I do stuff like that. Um, yeah, my camera's at an angle. I don't have a tripod, so that's something. Okay, found footage is, I feel like, a genre that people can be very, very divided on. And so I'm going to go over a few of them that I really like. I found one that I love so dang much. So I'm going to briefly go over a few. I've already talked about the Rural Farms Haunting. Until now, that was probably my favorite found footage movie that you might not have heard about because I do like to do ones you probably haven't heard of. So that was one of my favorites. Um, I've reviewed it before, but now I have a new one, but it wouldn't be good storytelling if I just revealed my number one film in this genre. So I'm going to explain a few others. The Rural Farms Haunting is basically about two friends and a video camera on a farm. One is moving out to make it big in Hollywood, while the other is staying on the farm, and haunted stuff happens, okay? Cheese balls are eaten, and it's an odd little delightful movie that for some reason I still really like when I remember it. Mind you, I don't think I put any trigger warnings on that one originally. I haven't rewatched it since then, but I'm still going to mention it because I did talk about it in another review, so I am going to bring it up, just temper it. For one, that I have a really whole ramble on my first YouTube video on here, so that's fun. The next one is Hell House LLC, and it's written and directed by Stephen Cognetti, but it's about a haunt that ended up having a malfunction, which then led to the deaths of 15 people on tour and staff. The footage is leading up to the malfunction. While looking at this movie, I now realize it has sequels. Hell House LLC 2, The Abaddon Hotel, Hell House LLC 3, Lake of Fire. There was something almost familiar about this movie. It had tropes that found footage mostly follow, but I think I liked seeing this haunt a little bit more than others. I also watched Scare Zone, and this one just stood out more for me. But the characters, unfortunately, weren't really memorable, which is nothing against the cast. The cast is great, especially with what they're working with script-wise. Yeah, it was good. I'm recommending it, sort of. um, don't worry, I am going to talk about found footage and the whole importance of found footage because it is incredibly important in the horror genre. Hell House LLC has a ton of flashing lights and strobe lights, so be warned about that. The next one is Happy Camp. My goodness, this one had such a promising premise and opening scenes, and then it just forgets about what it wanted to be. It's directed by Josh Anthony and written by Josh Anthony, Nancy Huvonen, Chris Miller, and Ember Truesdale, and produced by Drew Barrymore and a lot of the cast. Actually, it was produced by her company, Drew Barrymore's company. But anyway, boy gets adopted and lives with a family in a logging town called Happy Camp. But then his brother is abducted. He has no memory of it. Then years later, he finally returns with his girlfriend and a film crew to attempt to remember what happened to his brother. It's pretty good. Again, if they could go back to this movie and splice in more of the story, I would love it. And I get with found footage, sometimes you don't get the story, sometimes less is more and all that, but gosh, I really wanted Happy Camp to have like more, and it didn't. The next one's Greystone Park, and it's directed by Sean Stone. This is an actual place. Sorry, frustrated. I do think they did their best, but at the same time, when you have a beautiful building like that, film it, which apparently they did in some parts. Abandoned asylum movies are unfortunately something that exists. Not unfortunately, I shouldn't say it so mean like that. Um, but a lot of the time, I don't believe that they're handled as well as they could be. These are places in which unspeakable horrors have happened to real people, and sometimes I think in the idea of being scared, we forget that this stuff happened to real people. That's just me saying that. So if that's one of your triggers, I would warn you on that. Just, stay away from most of those. I typically do, but this movie does have a ton of flashing lights and shaky cameras. So now I must talk about Butterfly Kisses, directed and written by Eric Christopher Myers. I adore this movie. It included some interviews from other found footage filmmakers, including many, many nods to the Blair Witch Project. The filming is beautiful, but I'm getting ahead of myself. This movie is about a box of films found by a wedding videographer. On the tapes, he finds basically a documentary about Peeping Tom, so now he wants to make a documentary. Peeping Tom appears when you stare down a tunnel for an hour, then he appears each time you blink after an hour of staring. Kinda odd concept, but the way they filmed it makes it really creepy. Did I mention that it was filmed in Ellicott City? Sorry if I mispronounce Ellicott City. I always hear Ellicott, Ellie Valley City, I don't know. So I always hear all the different, anyway. That's not important. It's important because it was filmed there, though. On the tapes are Sophia and Feldman, who are doing their documentary about Peeping Tom. So Gavin's going through everything and hires a filmmaking crew. He struggles to prove the tapes are real and find proof of Sophia and Feldman. There's a lot to this movie. I think it helps sell its found footage goodness by including the co-director of the Blair Witch Project coming on and speaking about it. I really, really cannot say enough good things about this movie. And I don't mean to disparage found footage films when I say it took a long time to find one that I genuinely adore. It's a brilliant genre that when done right, it can really creep you out. There's different form of art to it all too, because yeah, a lot of newcomers to horror make found footage movies because they think it will be cheap and a good way to learn. And they're not wrong. It's a brilliantly good way to learn how to make a movie, how to make a horror movie especially, how to do things on a budget, how to have a good script, how to film. Because you'll see found footage films where the filming is beautiful. Like, yeah, you can have shaky cam. I keep doing this motion, sorry. Yeah, you can have shaky cam all day long. But when you nail it so that you have the right amount of shake where it doesn't cause motion sickness for the majority of your audience, you're beautiful. I love you so much. Yeah. That is how we get a lot of oddly made found footage movies that miss the point or attempt being overly ambitious. Butterfly Kisses knows what it is. It's confident filming for the crew and a little more edgy for the film students. There's a perfect blend. It doesn't really rely on shaky cam. The acting is all believable. The plot is great, and so is that dang creepy Peeping Tom. So those are the found footage films you may not have heard about. There's a lot to be said about this genre. There's so many films out there, and these are just the ones I picked out that aren't rated that high, besides Butterfly Kisses, but you might want to give one of them a watch. Whenever I mention I don't like this or that movie, I still watched it. I didn't turn it off. They deserve to be made, and this genre really has one movie for everyone out there. Because there's just so much. It's such a wide genre and a wide net to cast for everyone who watches horror movies. Or just find one with an interesting subject. See if you enjoy it. If you don't, that's okay. We don't need to agree. But again, this is sometimes some aspiring filmmakers' only way they feel they can make a movie on a budget. Or the only film they do make. I'm looking at you, Cordero Roman. And I'm devastated by the loss of Eric Christopher Myers. Please keep watching films. Please keep making movies. Because for every bad movie, there's someone out there that will like it, that will enjoy it, that will love it, that will be like, hey, have you seen this movie? I loved it. And they'll show it to their friends and recommend it online or write a review or anything. Just support filmmaking. Support people taking an idea and running with it. And, you know, they don't always have budgets, and that's fine. If you don't have a budget, make the script great. If you don't have a great script, ask somebody to come up with ideas with you and credit them. Sorry. Some of these movies do contain themes that may be triggering or may contain a ton of flashing lights. So please look out for your mental health. Take care of you, because goodness, you matter out there. Yeah, I need everyone to know this. I need you to know this, okay, is that you are important and you matter, And whether or not you made a good film or a crappy film or this or that or something that people make fun of, you still made a movie, which is bigger than most of us can say. You still went out there and you made an attempt and you made something, and that movie might be something that other people absolutely love. I have plenty of movies where I love them, I can't explain why, but they bring me such happiness. And if you find a movie that brings you happiness, especially an indie movie, tell them that you love it. Let them know. Let the cast know. You know, support your little indie filmmakers. Support the people that are making found footage film, because it might be the only film they get to make. They might not get support or funding or have the desire to go forward, because goodness gracious, it's hard to make anything. It's hard to find what you love, and it's hard to enjoy what you love, it feels like, most of the time these days. So when you find something and you love it, then you love it. And again, sorry, my glasses were probably falling down this whole time. And again, I truly want to remind you, if you are struggling, if you need someone to talk to, reach out. You matter. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say over and over again. I feel like a lot of us find comfort in horror films or find happiness in watching some of these movies as I point at non-horror films. Sorry. I have my other setup, but this is just, oh my gosh, Elvira. 1 minute, baby. I love you so much. You're such a good girl. I love horror movies. And some of them aren't going to be my favorite. But you know what? You made a movie. And I'm going to keep saying that. You made a movie. Be dang proud of it. Okay? Yeah, I think we all have mental health struggles. I apologize if I missed any triggers. There are websites to check for triggers. Normally I'm much better at that, but honestly, rewatching a lot of found footage, shaky cam, because a lot of the ones that I listed are shaky cam, and I can't watch them all in a row. Goodness gracious. But yeah, if you liked any of these, please let me know. And yeah, please keep watching horror and just watch whatever you enjoy. Please, if you have the energy, tell the directors or the script people or the cast or the producer that you like it, so that maybe this little tiny indie film will get backing or support. The best thing you can do for a filmmaker is either buy the movie, talk about it, share it with a friend, show them to the internet. But yeah, sometimes just scrolling the bottom of the barrel on Amazon or wherever you like to watch your discount horror movies. This dog. Elvira, you're so cute. I love you. And yeah. Thanks for watching. I know, yes, Elvira. Elvira says thank you too. 'Cause she's a cute little puppy. Yes, she is. I swear, I don't have Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. She's Elvira, Mistress of the Bark. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you keep watching horror movies. Alright, thank you. Be good to yourself, okay? If you didn't know, I think that would be... Oh no, this tape, there's honking in the background. What happened to you, Reptilicus? In case anyone doubted my love of Ellicott City, there it is. It's framed on the wall under the Titanic. Okay? It's framed on my wall under the Titanic. No, you can't. Sorry, here, I'll show you this. I couldn't find a proper way to get this all filmed in my background today, because I've literally sat on this found footage script for over a year, probably even longer than that. So, you know, that's what So yeah, so here's my spooky little big box of horror. Oh my gosh, you can't see. I'll have to turn on the night vision. Uh-oh. Oh, Willard. Right next to Willow, as it should be. Don't forget about the dollar section at your, well, $1.25 now section at your local shops, guys. Are you so cute? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You just had to make all the noise. Yep.
Hi, my name is Dan. I'm the host of a Happy Moment podcast. I talk primarily about horror movies, gaming, wrestling, anything spooky or nerdy. And I just finished recording an awesome episode with Turbo. We took a look at horror movies throughout the decades, and it was a lot of fun, and I'm very grateful that she is on. She's been a great supporter of my show, and I also consider her to be a friend. So this was a lot of fun.
Aw, thank you. See, all in glorious. Did you ever think you'd get filmed on one of these again?